Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Peter. In this video I'll show you how to service your regulator, and the one that I'll be working on in this one comes from the FX DRS Tactical, but if you have a different model the procedure is exactly the same. And if you're shooting a different brand of airgun, I'm sure that this method will be an inspiration for you as well. First up, I'll uninstall the parts. After that, clean and lube the whole thing up, and at the end I'll reinstall it and test it. And at the very end of the video I'll do a 1-week review. But first up, I'll show you how to get from a gun that looks like this to a gun that looks like this. It's about a 1.5 minute sequence, so you're welcome to skip this part. And before moving on, it's of course very important to degas the whole gun, because we will be removing the air cylinder. And now with the entire system degassed, we can remove the air cylinder. But before we do so, it's always a good idea to tighten this screw back up. Now, removing the air cylinder is just a firm grip, and you can take it off like that. Now it's time to uninstall the regulator from the gun, and of course it's very important that you degas the whole system completely before doing any of this kind of work. The first thing to remove is the adjuster screw. You insert the Allen key, turn it counterclockwise, and then you can remove it. After that, you take a bigger Allen key, insert it like this, and gently unscrew the regulator housing from the gun. When you remove the housing, it usually comes out like this. And now you have the 3 different parts of the regulator and the springs. Now it's time to clean the different parts of the regulator, and starting with the 3 pieces with O-rings. For that, I just use a piece of paper and just wipe them off gently. Make sure that they are completely clean, and be sure to inspect them afterwards. You want all excess silicone grease to be removed, and when you've done that, make sure that all the O-rings are intact, because defect O-rings will definitely cause a leak. And do inspect them as well for foreign objects, because just a piece of dust or any kind of foreign object might also cause a leak, and even worse, a slow leak. So make sure that you are very thorough in this part of the procedure. Once you've cleaned these parts, it's time to give it some silicone grease, and the way that I usually do it is to use this silicone grease from Huma and a toothpick. So just putting a tiny piece of silicone grease here on the tip of the toothpick, and then just applying it to the O-ring. Don't put too much on it, because you don't want any of these parts to be over lubed, because excess silicone grease might go into holes in the regulator where you can actually decrease the airflow. So be very thorough when you do this, and pay attention that you don't lube it up too much. Once you've done this, it's time to look at the springs. I have the springs over here, and depending on what kind of lubrication has been used before, I like to clean them off very thoroughly, or I clean them off very thoroughly no matter what kind of lube has been used. But what I use to clean them is just a brake cleaner, and put them in a little bowl like this, and of course go outside, or at least a place that's well ventilated, because this is some unhealthy thing to work with. So once it's been cleaned, I usually like to take this bowl and fill it with a little piece of a little bit of alcohol, and then pouring it in there just to get any excess material off. Once I've done this, I take out the rings, put them on a piece of paper like this, and make them dry off. And now it's very important to know that there are two kinds of lubrication that I like to use in a regulator. The first one we've already covered, that's the silicone grease for the O-rings, but for the springs I like to use some PTFE spray, and it helps with the friction, making it have a very high friction, and that's exactly what you want in springs. Putting any kind of grease or too much grease on it will cause some friction between the springs, and on top of that it will attract particles as time goes by. Not many people lube their springs or service their regulator on a regular basis, but therefore it's very important to use something that does not attract particles. When we fill our air bottle, of course there's a filter on it, but eventually some kind of particle will enter your system, and if there's grease on your springs, it will stick there, and it will increase the friction between the springs. So that's why I use this one, and because it's very toxic, also I take this piece of paper, go outside and spray a layer on it, and then make it dry. It goes very fast, and then I turn them around using gloves, because now you don't want to contaminate the springs. So turn them around, give them another layer on the other side of the springs, and then you'll be ready to install them on the piston. And now with the lubrication applied to the springs, it's time to install it on the piston. But before I do so, there's a few things I want to mention. And this is very important, because this contains petroleum, and you don't want this on your O-rings. Just keep them apart, because it will damage your O-rings. But once it's been just applied to the springs and they've dried up, there's no danger at all. Another thing I want to mention is that once you have a spring, some like to polish them, and it actually makes good sense, because sometimes this material that they've been covered with seems like it seems a bit rough. So what I usually do is to take a fiber cloth and just put it out like this, and then take the spring and just turn it like this and polish it like this. Maybe this is a bad example because I can't really with the gloves and everything, but anyway, you can rub it against this and do it until you feel like the surface is more clean on the spring. So now it's time to install the springs on the piston. And what I've done right now is to measure up the springs and put them in the right stacking order. And remembering that this piece of paper that I always make when taking the regulator apart, it's just so much easier to see where you're going and where you're at, because in this part of the procedure you need to be very, very careful, because you don't want to mess up the stacking, because it will mess up how your regulator performs. So now it's just to get the springs on the piston. And now with the springs on the piston, I just take the housing and just press it gently over the piston, and it gives a little click, and it's ready to be installed. So what I do now is actually to hold the gun like this and then push in the regulator. Like this, very gentle. And then just turn it into place. And once you feel that it's biting, you take the Allen key and just turn it into place like this. And now with the regulator almost fully seated, it's just time to give it the last little tug here. Make sure that it's screwed in completely, but don't give it like a master tightening, just like this, just not idiot tight like somebody would say. And then the last thing missing is the adjuster screw. Just put it in gently like that and turn it in. What I like to do is to turn it in completely until I meet some kind of resistance, and then just back it off just a little bit. So now with the regulator fully reinstalled, there's only to reassemble the whole gun and put pressure on the system. The gun's now been reassembled and fully pressurized. This is actually the day after I did the maintenance, and while I shot the gun yesterday, it performed pretty well. When I left the gun, it was at the regulator was at 88 bar, and right now it's at 90 bar. So just a 2 bar creep, which is absolutely respectable. What I'll do now is to take a few shots and then see how the regulator recovers between each shot. And I will say that's a pretty fast recovery. So all in all, I think this was a good decision to do the maintenance and the lubrication of the regulator. But let's leave the gun for about a week. No, not leave it. I'll of course shoot it like a madman, and I'll come back in a week to see how it performs. It's been a week now and I'm ready for the review, and as expected the gun has been used heavily in the meantime. Actually, I've made a full video where I tested 4 different kinds of pellets in this setup, and if you want to see that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because that's gonna be my next video. Talking about the performance of the regulator, the fill time is about the same as it was when I showed you the last time, and the creep is between 2 and 4 bar depending on how I stored the gun overnight. But what I want to show you right now is the spread of the gun, so I'm gonna take a few shots and show you how it looks. Yeah, that's 6 shots, and it had a spread of 4, so that is that's very respectable. And in case you were wondering which pellets I was shooting, right there it was a 16.2 grain JSB Beast. But right now there's two things I want to talk about. One is the lubrication of the springs, and secondly the stacking of the springs. Some might have a different opinion on how what kind of lubrication to use on your springs. This lube that I'm using for this regulator maintenance was something that I've been using for a very short time, but I've had such good results with this kind of lubrication. So that's what I decided to show you. And I'm not saying that this is like 100% the right one to use, because there are many options. So you can either use this one. I can just say that I've had some good experiences with this, but you can also go and use perhaps the one that I was using for the DO rings, the silicone grease from Huma, or from wherever you want to buy it, but make sure that it is a very thin layer. I've also used other kinds of oils and many different things, but I decided to give this one a go, and so far it's been looking pretty good. If you're in the US or anywhere else that has access to it, I know that Air Tourist is making something called Reg Butter, and it's supposed to work really well. So that's also an option, and one thing that I would like to look into myself in the future as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the stacking of the springs. This stacking that I'm using right now is something that I was maybe a bit skeptic about, because I haven't really seen stacking like this before. And if you go to the schematics on the DRS, you'll see that they actually say that it's 10 springs at 0.5, and they're stacked like this. And this is also an option, and there are a bunch of other options, and I can't really say what is the best stacking, but the one that I have right now, the one that I showed you in the previous part of the video, seems to work pretty well. But the one with the 10 springs in this configuration, it also works really well. But I will advise you, if you want to dive into it, just try different kinds of stackings and different kinds of thicknesses of the springs. Some might say that they have this 100% perfect solution, and I'm happy if you do, but just be open-minded and be open to that there are different ways of stacking your springs. That about sums it up for this video. I just wanted to show you how to maintain your regulator. So I hope that this was an inspiration to you, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my pellet test in the next video. So until next time, take care and shoot safe.